It's time to put our plans into action. In the previous Hermitcraft episode, we built this rather odd looking thing. This is the template for the mega base that I'm going to be building at the back of my mega vault. And we didn't just do template designing, we also did some creative mode building to work out what the design is going to be. And as you can see, I've kind of made a bit of a modification. You see, at the end of the Hermitcraft episode, this is what we were left with. A lot of pillars, like an awfully large number of pillars. I would argue a few too many pillars, to be honest with you. So I started playing about with some designs that allowed us to skip. And I think this looks quite nice. You know, because when I just removed the water, it just looked really, really strange. It looked like something was missing. But then continuing the little arch up, and then also removing the bit down at the bottom, I mean, I think it looks a lot better. Now, actually, on the topic of the pillars, I was reading through a lot of the comments, and some of you had some fantastic ideas about how the bridge makes sense with the water pillars. And a lot of people were saying pressure. You know, it's like the water is actually pushing the bridge up. It's insane water pressure that's holding up the bridge. And I absolutely love that idea. And with that, a lot of people were suggesting that I put soul sand down at the bottom. But the issue is that none of these are actually water sources. And I'm not sure I could make them water sources without water spilling everywhere. So I'll park that in the back of my head for now. But the idea of this thing being surrounded by high pressure pumps that feed into the bottom of the bridge, well, that's a beautiful idea, and I definitely think I'm going to be stealing that one. We are getting ahead of ourselves, though. I just got a rather threatening message, followed by a rather polite request to kill me. Also, please ignore my current location. I definitely wasn't stealing things. The lag is just really bad today. Where did you even come from?
Oh, over there. I'm here for your head.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Okay, so here's how this goes, right? I'm going to put down 2 chests. You put your gear in there, and you're going to fight me with a wooden sword.
Oh, okay, so...
And I'm also going to fight you with a wooden sword, and it's going to be perfectly even.
That sounds actually quite fair. I must admit, though, this is... Have you seen my PvP skills? I mean, I think this could be the shortest fight.
You can't possibly do worse than Etho. I wouldn't worry about it.
I'm kind of nervous and kind of excited. This is the first time I've done PvP in about 6 years. All right, here we go.
All right, go.
Okay. How does this work?
Whoa, that was a good crit. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh.
No. What? How? How was I that bad? Right, I'm curious. How much damage did I do?
1 heart.
One, 1 heart? I really did 1 heart. That was my best effort.
It was a good effort. It might have been a little... I might have healed a little bit, but I'm at 1 heart. Yeah.
Okay, is that worse than Etho?
Well, I have 30 Etho skulls.
Right, okay. So that's good. I don't even know how does that happen? Is that just does he just enjoy dying? Is that
really.
his?
Yeah, he just kept coming at me.
Right. Okay. Cool. Well, do you only need 1? Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's for my dungeon. It'll look great in there. Don't even worry. You can visit anytime.
Okay. No, that sounds really exciting. Well, it's always a pleasure to see you, and thank you for coming over and killing me. It was an okay experience, you know. I probably wouldn't do it 30 times, but I would do it again if needs be. Anyway, where were we? The giant mega base bridge. You see, I've worked out how many resources we need per module of our bridge because we built the bridge as a modular design. They're like 7-block long chunks of a bridge. And yeah, this is one of the modules that has a pillar. And then this is the module that doesn't have a pillar, the sort of transitional one. And that already seems like a decent number of resources, but then that's going to be multiplied over the number of modules. So let's see. Okay, so we start here. So this is a pillar. So it's 1 pillar, 1 transition, 1 pillar, 1 transition, 1 pillar. So 3 pillars, 2 transitions. And then we have a transition, a pillar, a transition, a pillar. So that's 2 of each on each side. Then on this side, there'll be 5 pillars and 4 transitions. Then on each one of the sides, there'll be 3 pillars and 4 transitions, which means we need to build 18 of each different type of module, which seems like the wrong answer, but also seems like it's probably the right answer. I mean, it is a square. I worked that out in a long-winded way to demonstrate for the video, but now I feel like I should just do it actually mathematically. I did not double check. I'm sure it'll be fine. But after doing a lot more number bashing, I have come up with this list right here. This is all of the items that I need just for the top section of the bridge. So just the bridge that's going to go around our template. This is everything. And Yeah, it's quite a lot. It's been a while since I've gone on a proper resource gathering mission. I'm kind of excited for it. Let's see if I'm still quite as excited about it in a few hours' time. And so it begins. Now, I can't help myself whenever I'm doing these large-scale Minecraft resource gathering missions, I just get a little bit nostalgic. I just start thinking about the early days when I had first got Minecraft and I was just staying up late at night gathering things for the build that I was working on. And it always makes me think how much the game has changed over the years because, you know, when I started playing 12 years ago, there was no enchantments, there was really nothing to help you resource gather, but equally, the actual resources that you could gather, they just weren't that varied. You know, you didn't really have a massive number of block palettes to choose from. You know, you were being pretty fancy if you were building with stone bricks and stone slabs, okay? So that's kind of how it was, whereas nowadays, everything is so different. You know, you've got all these different enchantments, you've got all these different location-specific enchantments to use, and also just so many blocks to choose from and so many different areas to gather them from. It makes the whole thing a really, really rich experience, and it's something that I've grown to massively enjoy over my years of playing Minecraft. So in short, that was a lot more fun than I expected. There is something incredibly satisfying about the sort of mindlessness about gathering large quantities of resources, and this was a fun variety of resources to gather. You know, we had some deep mining, we had some nether action, we had some raiding of Grian's chests. I only took the frog lights, okay? Those are the only things I took, because I still, for the life of me, can't understand how you actually get them. I know a magma cube is involved, alright, and I know that a frog has to eat something. I don't get it. I have, however, created a rather large field of copper that I now have to wait for it to mature. It looks like, look, this one has begun. This one has begun the process of going oxidized. As much as I love this game mechanic, I also absolutely hate this game mechanic. And if you're wondering why we put the blocks out in fields like this, is because when copper blocks are next to one another, it actually slows down the oxidization process. So if you put it in a field like this, then it speeds up the oxidization. And from a purely YouTube and video perspective, if I build something in a video and then it looks really ugly at the end of the video and I tell everyone, don't worry, it's going to look good in a while, that doesn't play that well, so instead I have to oxidize things before I put them in the build, so then I get a finished build at the end of the video. YouTuber insider knowledge aside, I now need to wait for this. So I'm going to dig myself into a hole and hopefully, overnight, this stuff will sort itself out. Oh dear, this is potentially bad. Please be oxidized. It looks oxidized. It looks like we've got some oxidization. It's not that much oxidization. I'm confused. Why does it look like they're in bands? That is so strange. There are distinct patterns of oxidization. They're all grouped up. Can anyone explain why they're all grouped up? That is both fascinating and frustrating, because obviously they're not oxidized, and I need them to be oxidized, so I guess I've got to spend another night in my hole. I will see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow is now, and I appear to have a different sort of block on top. What is this? What? What? That is not what I expected. Okay, why was there concrete above my head? And do I need any of this stuff? Do I need any of this stuff? I mean, that would be quite nice. Oh, I just broke a sign. There was probably a sign here that said something important, but now it's been broken, and now I'll never know why there was concrete above my head. Anyway, the good news is we are now fully oxidized, which means we can finally, after multiple days, actually start work on this project. And the mystery of the concrete and sign will forever remain a mystery. So let's begin. And this part is always incredibly nerve-wracking. The first blocks going into a build. I mean, do I build this one module at a time, or like one element at a time? I guess if I get the first module constructed, then I can find a rhythm and then work out what is better. Like, it might make sense if I do this part all the way around, and then do the walls all the way around, and then do the bottom bits all the way around, because otherwise I'll just constantly be switching blocks and have an inventory full of various different items, and that might be painfully slow. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it section by section. That makes a lot more sense for my brain, because otherwise I'm gonna have to keep all the different designs and patterns in my head, and that just seems like too much. Progress is coming along pretty nicely. We've got a decent chunk of the walkway, and already it's starting to look pretty good. The only thing that I have to keep in mind is counting the number of stairs, because on the bridging part of the build, the bit that doesn't have the water flowing downwards, I do have some upside down stairs, so they happen periodically, but otherwise I'm essentially just printing blocks at this point in time. I have just passed the halfway mark and still feeling pretty good. I'm now approaching the end of this loop and I'm feeling like I never want to see a stone block or stair again, but this part of the build is now all complete, and I must say I did a good job at working out how many blocks I actually needed. Excellent news. Okay, this is already looking more substantial and is looking very, very cool indeed. Wait, I just watched back the footage. Did I place the last stair the wrong way up? Or was it... I did. That is embarrassing, and I'm sure would have stressed out a lot of you. I almost lost all of my subscribers. That was a close call. Okay, next up on the to-do list, I guess... I mean, what's a good move here? I guess if I do all of these blocks that are in line with the stairs, then I can build up and down from them. It's yeah. As you can tell, I'm probably not. What has happened to my face? Oh yeah, I'm using my camera account while in the single player world, so I can actually see what I'm building. That makes total sense. Ignore that my face is a lens. Okay. Yeah. As you can probably tell, I don't really know what I'm doing. It's been a while since I've worked on a project as big as this that I have to actually build in bits. But we shall push on regardless. But so far, I've gotten myself a little bit confused. This pattern is a lot more complicated than the stairs pattern, and I really don't want to get it wrong. And it seems like also the thing that's making me confused is things are slightly off. I think I did this area wrong. You see, I didn't really plan for this T-junction here, so I kind of winged it a little bit. And that has meant that I've built it wrong. And this is why you should meticulously plan everything. Or you could meticulously not plan anything, in which case nothing can ever go not to plan. It's a genius and potentially faultless strategy. The issue is that has now made me second guess how wrong everything else is. I mean, I've calculated everything else. I think only that line should be affected. If the whole thing's affected, then I'm going to be extremely, extremely upset. Thankfully, I have no reason to be upset. Things are going well, and I am picking up some serious speed. I mean, I can build fast. I'm like a speed builder. Is there an any % for building of very specific bridges? Because I reckon I'd win it. My thumb is starting to hurt from all this shifting though, I must admit. And just like that, we have arrived at the other side. So that is the outline done. Now I need to do all of the insides, which should be very similar to doing the outsides, apart from obviously these corners, which I'm still not 100% certain what I'm going to do with, but we'll work that out when we come to it. These came together very neatly, so hopefully the insides do the same. Yeah, I mean, this seems like a pretty good setup. I would say that looks quite neat, that looks quite nice. I can see that fitting in with the build. So now I shall continue my speed placing, and my speed placing is complete. All of those blocks are in, so let's get rid of this horrible orange template. I don't know why I called it horrible, it's not that bad, I'm sorry. And before you all start panicking, don't worry, I am picking up all of the orange concrete that's falling. Things are looking good. Things are looking really, really good. This is coming together so beautifully. I actually have a walkway that I can run around on. This is very, very exciting indeed. So let's pop back into the testing world to see what's next. Oh, camera face is returned. So this layer here, this is the layer that I've constructed. This is the one that's already built on the Hermitcraft server. So I guess next up, probably the walls. These bits here. Okay, so it's mainly walls, deep slate, and then copper and prismarine slabs. And I think this will be the part of the build that really transforms it into actually looking like a proper build. So let's get building. Hello, it's Mustache Face again. This pattern has definitely upped the complexity again, and I can feel my 2 brain cells just catching fire right now. This is a lot to remember. There's slabs involved, there's multiple layers. There's all sorts of different bits and bobs going on, but I think things are going well. I mean, this corner was a little bit awkward, but I'd say I've solved it. Yes, I'm starting to find my rhythm now. No, I'm not. I placed that wrong. That was a bit embarrassing, wasn't it? Okay, now I've found a serious rhythm, and it actually comes from kind of placing things in a slightly sporadic and strange style. Instead of doing it block by block, I'm kind of doing it bit by bit. It sounds like the same thing, but it's not. And that has me absolutely flying along. I made another mistake again. This is getting embarrassing. This is getting really embarrassing. But all mistakes aside, now everything is all done. This outside section has been completed. We now have ourselves a wall, and it is looking rather glorious, if I do say so myself. So now let's do the inside. Is doing all of these patterns driving me slightly insane? Mildly. Mildly, yes, but I am very happy that we're making progress finally on my mega base. I do think I'll remember this block pattern for the rest of my life, though. Anyway, these slabs are the final few blocks that are going into the walls, and now everything is all done. And that is looking really, really cool. I do have one slight concern, and that is the fact that this wall here looks bigger, because it is bigger than the wall back here. And that means that although this is technically a bigger build, this maybe looks more substantial. That's fine. because remember, we have the entire bottom section to build and all of the pillars as well. But I guess that's something to keep in the back of my head, because maybe once it's all constructed, I might have to do something to bulk up this area here. Perhaps install a roof on it, or do something that just makes it taller and look thicker and just more substantial. We'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. Do you get it? Because I'm building a bridge, so I just crossed the bridge as I was saying it. Let's keep building, shall we? And you know what? I'm clearly going insane. Let's do a time lapse, because building and talking is evidently too much for me. But I'll tell you what isn't too much for me: checking the Minecraft logo every single time I open the game to see if it says the word Minecraft. You see, there is an Easter egg that I don't even know I don't know if it exists anymore, because I've never witnessed it, okay? I've never had this happen to me. I've had friends, you know, Hypnotized on the Hermitcraft server. He recorded a video where he was just talking over the Minecraft menu, and it just so happened to have Minecraft on it. I mean, what are the chances of that? That's astronomical, but this has never happened to me. Okay, it's a 1 in 10,000 chance that when you open up Minecraft, the logo is misspelt. And the reason that I'm stressing about this is because in the Minecraft 1.20 snapshots, there is a different logo. Okay, they've changed the logo, and I want to know, is the Minecraft thing still going to be a thing? Or are they going to get rid of it with the new logo? Because if they're getting rid of it, I don't even know what to say. Am I a true Minecraft veteran if I haven't seen the elusive Minecraft? And am I never going to get the opportunity ever again? I need confirmation on this. If any devs are watching, please do comment down below. I need answers. So that is everything constructed. And now that it has all of the bottom bits, this build is looking significantly more substantial than it was beforehand. It looks chunky. It looks like it matches up with this build over here. I think there is one slight difference that is slightly jarring, and that is this pathway. I haven't really used any blocks that bright in this build over here, so this build looks significantly darker than this one. I know there are obviously some pops of highlight in this one, but the overall tone of this structure is significantly brighter. It's like 10% brighter, and I think we need to do something to tone this one down a little bit. So I'm thinking, instead of using this smooth stone here, instead I'm going to swap it out for stone bricks for the majority of the build. But then I'm still going to leave these little bits of the smooth stone, partly because in this section it actually pokes out on the underside of the build and it's part of the look of the underside, but also because I think that breakup of texture should actually look quite nice. I'm also potentially thinking about swapping out the prismarine slabs for dark prismarine slabs, but I'm going to play around with this stone brick idea first. Oh, that's always so satisfying. I'm only a quarter of the way done, and already this is significantly better. Significantly better. This is awesome. I can't help myself though. I have to know if the dark prismarine will look better. It probably won't look better. It probably won't be an improvement, but I want to see. I want to see what it feels like. I mean, I guess it is worth noting that we haven't used a single type of regular prismarine in any of the build, but we use plenty of dark prismarine. So I guess it probably would be more on theme, and thankfully I do have a somewhat decent supply of dark prismarine. Hopefully this is enough. I'm going to swap out half the build and see how it feels. Okay, so on a block by block basis, I would say this side is uglier. I would say it doesn't look quite as good. I just think these two blocks go better together, but I'm curious, on a larger scale, I actually think this one looks better. Yeah, I would say that one looks better. Does it look better, or am I just enjoying the novelty of it? This is the difficulty of building. I would say that this side is more in keeping with this build, which in turn makes it the better option. I think it fits the build better. This is difficult, but yeah, I would definitely say that that's the case. I'm committing to it. Dark prismarine. It is done. Everything is done. This bridge is now all fully completed. Part 1 of my mega project has been finished, and honestly, I couldn't be more excited for the beginnings of my mega base. Wait. Is my base starting to look sustainable again? Seriously, how long has this been like this? I've been paying so much attention to the outer edge. I've only been looking at the details of the outer edge. I had not noticed this. When did this happen? That in of itself is sustainable. This is the most sustainable thing that's ever happened to me. I'm feeling like Greta Thunberg. Is this who's responsible for the white concrete mystery? Honestly, we'll never know. I hope you enjoyed today's Hermitcraft episode, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!